Although this club has faced a lot of turbulent times over the last few years and there have been a lot of internal problems at West Ham United, one thing can be said for sure. This club has been good at supporting fans and players alike through tough times. One good example is at the start of the pandemic, when David Moyes called an elderly fan to see how she was getting on, and he really made her day. Really lovely gesture from him, and he represented the club very well during the lockdown. In more recent days, the club has been doing everything it can to support forward Andriy Yarmolenko, a Ukrainian international who is going through a very tough time right now because of the ongoing conflict with Russia. We've seen the reports in the news, we've seen images and videos of the conflict. Some of them are very disturbing, most are absolutely horrifying. And the people of Ukraine are suffering right now at the hands of Vladimir Putin. I won't get all political in this video, and the purpose of this is not to explain what I think about the war, to justify the war in any way. That's definitely not on the cards, and it's not to talk about my own opinion on Russia or Ukraine or what have you. I live in Canada, where a lot of people are of Ukrainian origin. So let me start by saying something. Don't be narrow-minded and assume that all Russians are bad right now, because that is not the case at all. I'll tell you this, a lot of Russians have probably emigrated to the UK or to North America because they are disillusioned with the political system, because they are disillusioned with Putin's Russia, and they do not like Russian society under him. That might be the reason why they've come to get away from him and Russia right now. So don't take it out on normal Russian citizens. Many of them have probably not advocated this war. So, with that said, Andriy Yarmolenko has family and friends still living in Ukraine. And he's deeply hurt by the situation. He's not the only Ukrainian to play in the Premier League. Alexander Zinchenko and Vitaly Mikalenko also play in this league. They play for Manchester City and Everton respectively. Everton and Manchester City faced each other last weekend, and the two Ukrainians embraced each other before the game. Zinchenko was visibly upset and was very appreciative of both clubs' gestures. Andriy Yarmolenko spoke on Instagram about his appreciation for British citizens and his pride at being Ukrainian. He said that he loves his country and he's very saddened to see what's going on there. So, in order to help him concentrate on this situation, as grave as it is, the club gave him compassionate leave. That was the only fundamental and correct thing to do. The players have supported him as well. I reckon Mark Noble and Declan Rice have reached out to Yarmolenko and told him to just speak to them if he's got any problems, because the thing with this club, it's a non-judgment club and everyone's family. And although you may have opinions on what Yarmolenko's like as a player, I can tell you one thing. With the recent events, my opinion on him has changed. He is a human at the end of the day. He's going through emotions and he needs our support right now, not our criticism. During the game against Wolves last Sunday, the players showed their support. They wore Andriy Yarmolenko's number on the back of their training tops. Rice brought out a Yarmolenko jersey during the pre-game rituals. And on the big screen around the stadium, there were an image of Yarmolenko in a Ukraine jersey with the Ukrainian flag behind him was displayed with the text, West Ham United supports Andriy Yarmolenko and the people of Ukraine. And I think he really does appreciate that. Lovely thing to do. And Yarmolenko himself has helped out with the cause. He's donated £75,000 to the Ukrainian Armed Forces. That's pretty much over half a week's wage for him. And that is a fantastic thing for him to do. And I'm really pleased he did that. It's the least he could do right now. But it is going to affect his mental health a lot, as will be the case with Mykolenko and Zinchenko. Mykolenko admits that when he calls his parents, they're often in tears, and he's frantically asking them what's going on all the time. And don't forget, these men have wives and children as well. Maybe Yarmolenko feels lucky that he was able to use the sport of football to get out of the Ukraine and to see different countries. Mykolenko moved to England 1 month before this conflict started. Zinchenko's wife is a journalist and will be keeping tabs on what's going on in their homeland. So it's going to affect everyone, not just the players, but their families. And the clubs are doing all they can to support their own players in their times of need. It's a really sad situation what's going on in Ukraine right now, because it is a very lovely country from what I've seen. Most people think, oh, it's Eastern Europe, it's all Soviet, Eastern Bloc type nation. It 1,000,000% is not anymore. It's stunning. The architecture, the churches, and the history of Ukraine is stunning. Ukraine is proud to be Ukraine and stand on its own. And I'm going to use a bit of an analogy probably to describe it. You know how Americans often berate Canadians? I bet that's what Russians are like with Ukrainians. But let me tell you one thing. I bet Ukrainians have the last laugh, because they're probably a lot more humble and a lot more pleasant. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just stereotyping. But you get what I'm saying, right? And the people of Ukraine are standing up to defend their beloved homeland. Even the President Zelensky, is choosing to stay and fight rather than to go and flee. He will go down as one of the best political leaders of our generation at this rate, because he's a man who loves his country. He's patriotic, and Ukrainians are naturally patriotic people. I really feel for Yarmolenko right now. I do think about how he feels. I think about the people of the Ukraine, because I'm going to go to bed in a minute and sleep. They're probably wide awake all night fearing if their houses are going to be bombed or if someone's going to be killed. So we have to do all we can to help these people. If you want to house a Ukrainian refugee, I think you should. And if they come over to the UK, don't slag them off, because they've come to get away from hatred and war. So don't give them hatred and war in another country. I would welcome any Ukrainians into Canada right now, and they'd fit right in because of the big Ukrainian culture. And you should in the UK as well, if you do see any. Maybe Andriy Yarmolenko should consider moving his family over to London for a bit, if it's safe to do so. But as long as he's got the backing of the club, and as long as he's always got someone to talk to, and he's got constant communication, and is able to express his feelings with people at the club and on social media, I'm not going to say it's going to be fine, but it will help him to give him some comfort. And he needs to lean on our shoulders right now. Let's support Yarmo and give him the love that he needs. Because it could happen to any country. Who knows? Could have even happened to the UK for all we know. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like the video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe for more content. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all soon.